The desert was silent. No cities. No cars. No airplanes. Only endless sand under a burning sky. But deep beneath that silent earth, something was sleeping. A black liquid. Sticky, dark, smelling like death. And one day, humanity would become addicted to it. Men would kill for it. Countries would burn because of it. Families would become rich beyond imagination, while millions suffered in poverty. This is not just the story of oil. This is the story of power, greed, war, and the black liquid that changed human history forever. The wind moved slowly across the desert. Thousands of years ago, people did not know what oil really was. In ancient places like Mesopotamia, black liquid sometimes came out naturally from the ground. People were afraid of it. Some believed it came from the underworld. Others used it in strange ways. They used it to waterproof boats, to build walls, to light fires. Nobody knew. This strange black liquid would one day control the entire world. Center. It's past. Kings rose and died. Empires disappeared. Humanity changed. But oil stayed hidden underground, waiting. Then came the Industrial Revolution. The world was changing fast. Factories were growing. Machines were becoming stronger. Steam engines filled the air with smoke. Humanity wanted speed, power, energy. And suddenly, the world became desperate for fuel. At first, people used whale oil for lamps, and that created another horror. Thousands of whales were hunted across the oceans. Giant creatures were killed only to light human homes. The seas turned red. But then, everything changed in 1859. In a small town called Titusville, a man named Edwin Drake drilled deep into the earth. People laughed at him. Some called him crazy. Day after day, he kept digging. Then suddenly, black liquid exploded from the ground. Oil. The moment changed history forever. The world had discovered a new treasure. Not gold, not diamonds. Something far more powerful. Black gold. Cinematic pause. At first, people celebrated. Oil brought light into homes. Machines became stronger. Factories grew bigger. The world looked brighter. But hidden behind that success, darkness was growing. Soon, giant businessmen entered the oil industry, and among them, one man became more powerful than anyone else. John D. Rockefeller. He was quiet, smart, calm. But behind his calm face was a machine built for domination. He created Standard Oil, and slowly, he began controlling everything. Oil fields, railroads, refineries. Anyone who stood against him disappeared. Small businesses were crushed. Competitors were destroyed. Some people called Rockefeller a genius. Others called him a monster. But one thing was certain. Oil was no longer just fuel. It had become power. And power changes people. The streets of America were changing quickly. Factories covered cities with smoke. Workers spent long hours in dangerous conditions. Children worked inside dark facto. Rise. Meanwhile, oil kings became richer than kings from ancient history. Money flowed like rivers. Huge mansions were built. Expensive parties filled the nights. But ordinary people suffered. This was the first dark truth of oil. It created unimaginable wealth and terrible inequality. Then came the automobile. And suddenly the world changed again. When Henry Ford created affordable cars, people became obsessed. Roads spread across countries. Cities expanded. Gas stations appeared everywhere. Humanity fell in love with speed, but every car needed oil. And that hunger became endless. The earth was no longer enough. Countries started searching desperately for oil across deserts, oceans, and foreign lands. And that is when the real nightmare began. Cinematic transition. The Middle East. Endless deserts under a burning sun. For centuries, many outsiders ignored this region. But everything changed after oil was discovered beneath the sand. Suddenly, powerful nations became interested. Foreign companies arrived. Promises were made. Deals were signed. But many local people received very little from the wealth beneath their own land. Huge oil companies became richer and richer. Meanwhile, workers suffered in brutal heat. Some lived in terrible conditions while foreign businessmen enjoyed luxury. The world saw glittering cities, but behind the bright lights, there were painful stories. Oil was creating modern kingdoms overnight, and the world wanted more. Then came war. World War I. For the first time in history, oil became a weapon. Tanks needed fuel. Warplanes needed fuel. Ships needed fuel. Oil became as important as bullets. Without oil, armies could not move. And world leaders understood something terrifying. Whoever controls oil controls the future. That realization changed global politics forever. Countries started fighting not only for land, but for oil. Secret agreements were made behind closed doors. Powerful nations, interfered in weaker countries. Governments were manipulated. Some leaders were removed. All for one reason: oil. The black liquid had become more valuable than human lives. Cinematic narration. The years passed. Oil companies grew into giants. Huge pipelines crossed deserts and mountains like giant metal snakes. Massive oil rigs stood in oceans. Workers risked their lives every day. Some never came home. Explosions happened. Fires burned for days. Entire communities were destroyed. But the machines never stopped, because the world had become addicted. Every airplane in the sky, every truck on the road, every factory, every modern city, all depended on oil. Human civilization was now connected to this black liquid. And addiction always has a price. Then came one of the most shocking moments in history: the oil crisis of the 1970s. Suddenly, oil prices exploded. People waited in long lines for gasoline. Countries panicked. Economies suffered. Fear spread across the world. For the first time, ordinary people realized how deeply oil controlled their lives. Without oil, modern society could stop. The world felt helpless. And powerful oil-producing nations discovered their true strength. Oil had become political power. It could shake entire countries without firing a single bullet. Cinematic pause. But another dark truth was rising quietly: pollution. At first, nobody cared. Factories filled skies with smoke. Cars covered cities with dirty air. Oil spills poisoned oceans. Animals died covered in black liquid. Beaches became graveyards. The earth itself was changing. Scientists began warning humanity. The planet was warming. Ice was melting. Storms were becoming stronger. But many powerful companies ignored the warnings. Some even hid information. Because oil was making too much money. This became one of the darkest chapters in the story of oil. Humanity knew the danger, but stopping was almost impossible, because the modern world depended on it. Cinematic narration. Night falls over a giant oil refinery. Machines roar loudly. Fire rises into the sky. Workers walk through metal tunnels under red lights. Some are exhausted. Some are afraid. Some dream of escaping poverty. Oil gives jobs to millions. It feeds families. It builds cities. But it also destroys lives. And that contradiction makes the story so powerful. Oil is not simply evil. It helped humanity grow faster than ever before. It connected countries, created industries, made travel possible. But greed turned it dangerous. Because humans always want more money, more power, more control. And oil became the perfect tool. Then came the Gulf Wars. Again, oil stood silently behind global conflict. Governments spoke about freedom and security, but many people believed another reason was hiding beneath the surface: oil fields. The world watched explosions on television screens while deserts burned in fire. Smoke covered the sky for days. Soldiers died. Civilians suffered. And once again, humanity spilled blood over black gold. Cinematic transition. Meanwhile, ordinary people continued daily life, driving cars, flying in airplanes, using plastic products. Many never realized how deeply oil touched their lives. Plastic comes from oil. Fuel comes from oil. Modern transportation depends on oil. Even today, humanity struggles to escape its addiction. Some countries are now searching for cleaner energy: solar power, wind energy, electric cars. But the transition is difficult, because oil built the modern world itself. Removing it feels almost impossible. And powerful companies still earn billions every year. The battle between profit and the future of Earth continues. Cinematic pause. Imagine standing in the middle of the desert at night. Oil flames burn in the distance. The air smells heavy. Machines continue working without rest. And beneath your feet, millions of years of ancient tea history sleep underground. Oil was created from dead plants and creatures buried beneath Earth for millions of years. Ancient life turned into fuel for modern civilization. That alone feels haunting. Humanity burns the remains of ancient worlds to power its future. But what happens when the oil finally disappears? That question frightens governments, scientists, and businessmen alike. Because humanity built a civilization that cannot easily survive without it. And every year, the demand grows. More cars, more factories, more energy. The hunger never ends. Cinematic narration. There were places on Earth where oil changed everything overnight. Poor villages became rich cities. Deserts transformed into futuristic skylines. But not everyone benefited. Some workers remained poor, while rulers became unimaginably wealthy. Some countries became trapped in corruption and conflict. Oil created both miracles and disasters. That is the tragedy of black gold. It can create paradise for some people, and hell for others. The story of oil is really the story of humanity itself. our intelligence, our ambition, our greed. Oil exposed every side of human nature, the good, the bad, and the terrifying. Cinematic transition. A child looks out from a polluted city. Dark smoke covers the sky. Cars fill the streets endlessly. The child takes a slow breath. This is the world oil helped create. Fast, loud, modern, but also polluted, dangerous, unstable. And now humanity faces a difficult question. Can we survive our own addiction? Or will the thing that made humanity powerful also destroy its future? Nobody knows. That uncertainty makes the story even more frightening. Because the ending has not happened yet, we are still living inside this story. Every car engine, every airplane flight, every gas station. The story continues. Cinematic narration. For thousands of years, oil slept silently beneath the earth, hidden in darkness. Then humanity flew, and everything changed. Empires rose because of it. Wars were fought because of it. Millions became rich because of it. Millions suffered because of it. Oil gave humanity power beyond imagination. But power always comes with consequences. Today, the world still runs on black gold, but deep inside, humanity understands something terrifying. The same thing that built the modern world may also become its greatest danger. And somewhere tonight, in a silent desert under a dark sky, oil continues flowing from the earth. The machines keep running, the fires keep burning, and humanity keeps chasing power, no matter the cost. Because the darkest addictions are the hardest to escape, and the story of oil is far from over.